Today we'll be going through the security and privacy settings that are available at the tenant level to our customers. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as a staff user, mouse over to settings. And in the second card, we have a mix of tenant administration settings as well as security and privacy settings. We'll be going through the security and privacy settings for the purposes of this video. So we'll just go straight down the list and start with attachment variables. What this does is it allows configuring users to limit the number of attachments, the size of the attached file, and the max total size of attached files for any given ad hoc email or email template configured within the application. The purposes of this is for very security conscious folks and customers to limit the total outbound kind of size of data that can leave the application. So some of our customers would prefer not to have anything larger than a megabyte or two to be attached to any email sent from the application to prevent kind of data leakage and to ensure security and privacy. Moving on to password strength options. As the name implies, this is where our customers kind of set and define their password strength requirements. There's a default set at the provider level, and our customers are basically forced to use our default or anything stricter than our default. They cannot set strength requirements that are weaker than our default. So here's where you set the minimum length, requiring special numeric and uppercase letters, control lockout, and password expiration. And this feature basically allows you, as a configuring user, to force newly set and defined password strength requirements on existing passwords. Moving down to web portal customizations, we'll click on Manage Portal Visibility Settings. The default here is full visibility on the portal for individuals who are logging in and have been provided portal access. Limited visibility suppresses some details and information on the portal that is accessible to the individual. So process details is suppressed, as is logs, tasks, and notes. However, this setting only applies to individuals logging into the portal. So organization contacts who have portal access and access to specific individual records will continue to see what it is that they're allowed to see. So this limited visibility, again, is limited only to individuals. And here we also have the ability to display or hide target dates for workflow steps on the portal. And you can elect to hide it for individuals or organization contacts or both. Moving to individual authorization alerts, we implemented this feature to comply with GDPR and CCPA, which are data privacy regulations you may have heard of. And what it is it allows our customers to configure essentially a click agreement that individual users logging into the portal must agree to if it's enabled before they can actually access the application. What appears in this is what the agreement that's kind of displayed to the user logging in is configurable. You can include text within the authorization section, and you can also include an alert text, and that typically corresponds to like a privacy policy or some other end user licensing agreement that law firms may want their individuals to agree to before processing their PII, their personally identifiable information. As a default, we provide some language for our law firms to kind of leverage and utilize, but of course they can go in and change this text to meet their needs. And if for whatever reason a particular law firm does not wish to have this feature enabled, they can go ahead and disable it up here if it's enabled, or enable it if needed. Last but not least, we'll click into two-factor authentication, and this feature will only appear if the particular tenancy has been enabled with two-factor authentication, which is set at the provider level and on the provider site. So that is something that they need to come to us to enable, and there is a fee associated with this particular feature. So we'll click into two-factor authentication, and here you'll see a couple of settings. A configuring user is able to enable two-factor authentication for specific role types. So they can enable 2FA across the board for staff users, across the board for foreign national or individual users, and across the board for organization contact users. And you'll notice that if I enable it for any of the portal user types, I'll have to either enable it for all or enable it for specific organizations. So this security requirement may be imposed on our customers by their clients, especially if you have large corporate entities who are using legal services provided by our customers and are forcing really our customers to comply with their stringent security standards. So you are able to, as a configuring user, to limit the organizations who have access to 2FA. So the way that you would do that is by selecting the organization from this dropdown, clicking Add, and then selecting whether or not to enable 2FA for individuals of this organization or organization contacts of this organization, or both. So you can do that here. And we're not actually going to save because that will then actually turn on 2FA for those users of that organization, but that should be a decent enough overview of this feature. You can have as many organizations in this list. You can also only elect to enable for a particular organization 2FA for a specific user role type. So there's quite a lot of flexibility in how you can enable 2FA for different role types and different role types for a given organization. What's not included in this list is SSO. We do offer single sign-on to our customers, and that is all handled as a professional service, and those settings are enabled and turned on at the provider level as well.